Hi, everybody. Welcome to Double Shot of Steelers presented by FanDuel. He's Chris Halleck over there in that box. I'm Dejan Kovacevic. We're from DK Pittsburgh Sports, and we cover this team. This is what we do.
Yeah.
This is what we do. This program is presented to you by our good friends at FanDuel. The Steelers will be taking on the Bills, as the helmets illustrate here, at 4:25 p.m. Sunday at Acrisure Stadium. I'm sure there are points in the calendar year where you looked at that on the schedule and you thought, "Oh, that's going to be good. That's going to be a big game. Yeah, I'm so stoked for this," and whatever. And right now, everybody's like, "There's still football? Really? We still got to do more of this?"
Yeah, maybe just the fact that it's Thanksgiving this week that people still kind of feel like it's a football thing. But I think after this week, especially if the Steelers end up losing to the Bills, like it's gonna be like, all right, let's turn the attention to the Penguins.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably legitimately plenty of that. Although they need to pick their game up as well. Joseph,
very true,
asks, "This is what we're gonna do today. We're going to go through your questions here. We're going to go through a bunch of them." Joseph asks, was Mason Rudolph afraid to throw the ball after he was intercepted? He usually has better control. Those passes downfield were not even close. What passes downfield?
Like the four of them?
Was it four? Even?
It might have been. The interception, there was another one to Roman.
No, that went out of bounds to the right.
Yeah, and that was not a good throw either. I don't know if I'd call the one late to Calvin, like 2 plays before the final play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd call that downfield.
No,
I'd call that more intermediate, but it was one of the rare intermediate throws too.
Looks downfield for their perspective.
No joke.
Listen, Joe, if you're talking about quarterbacks right now, whether it's Rudolph or whether it's Aaron Rodgers, you're completely missing the point. The point is this giant yellow oval that you can draw across the middle of the field that has no activity in it. It's the Bermuda Triangle. It's the Sahara Desert. If you have one of those FlightAware things, I'm really into airlines and stuff and airports. When you watch where the little planes are flying all over the world, it's one of the. It's like the airplanes over Ukraine. It's just totally dark. Okay, you can't fly there.
Yeah.
No footballs shall be thrown over the middle of the field, unless, of course, it's against the Steelers. In which case, wide open, have your way. Come on in and get it. It's funny, Chris. Half of the comments here that I'm scanning through this are something about the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And that's not a quarterback's call. I don't think it's the coordinator's call in this case.
No, I don't think it's because when you go through Arthur Smith's history of what he did in Tennessee, more specifically what he did in Atlanta, but Tennessee was still I won't say a lot, but more of a helping of in breaking routes than what we're seeing here. Mainly because, again, Arthur Smith, and he even explained this to me when he was in Tennessee, he wanted to find different ways to create explosive plays. You can throw the occasional go ball, but play action, especially when you do have Derrick Henry and you have a really great running game, you can use play action to help develop that. You also can call a lot of concepts that give the receivers or maybe even tight ends the ability to get a lot of catch and run. And we have not seen that on a consistent basis here. We've seen it occasionally. You see it, obviously the Minnesota game where DK Metcalf pulls off the 80-yard touchdown. And there have been a few other instances. But when I look at Jonnu Smith, for example, and look at what he was able to do after the catch with Miami, the Steelers are not using him the same way at all. At all.
And he is not the kind of guy who's going to pipe up about it. Jonnu is he's a chill dude. He cares. He's invested. but he's not going to say, "Where's mine?"
Yeah.
You brought him here to use him, and then you didn't use him. And then what ended up happening is you didn't use Pat Freiermuth either. Guys, this isn't coming from the quarterback, and it isn't coming from the coordinator.
Yeah.
The head coach, if you listen to those Tuesday pre-rambles, as I call them, you can pick up the degree to which, and the area which, he fears the most about the opponent. So when you're going against, Chris and I joke a lot about that game in Atlanta last year, where the Falcons had these 2 all-universe safeties.
Yeah.
Okay? So Tomlin's solution for this was to never, ever throw the ball within 30, 40 yards of these guys.
And they didn't.
And
like
they
at all.
Didn't like at all. So he goes to Chicago. He sees that the Bears have the most takeaways in the league. So he just runs and hides under his figurative desk. We can't have no, don't. All these passes you have here, Art, no. We're not doing that. And it wouldn't make a difference if it was Rudolph or Rodgers. Not to him. It wouldn't make a difference if he had 3 tight ends or 4 tight ends or no tight ends. It wouldn't make a difference if he had DK Metcalf and a WR2 and a WR9 and a whatever else here. It doesn't matter. This coach is living in his fears in a way that I don't think I've even seen from him over the course of his tenure.
Yeah, it's really, really, because it's not like he has coached this team every single season in which, like, he's afraid to do things on offense. I mean, now granted, a prime Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell kind of force his hand. You're not going to do anything to handcuff that. And to his credit at the time, and especially probably most successfully with Todd Haley as the offensive coordinator, they were a phenomenal offense. And there wasn't anything that they were afraid to do, even if it did mean the occasional interception thrown by Ben. And that was going to happen because, he's the old gunslinger. That it comes with the territory there. But ever since Ben, and I know you pointed this out in your Daily Shot, that's not been the case, and the quarterback has been handcuffed. It doesn't matter if it's been a rookie in Kenny Pickett or if it's been a 41-year-old in Aaron Rodgers. Now, I understand that Aaron Rodgers is 41 and he's not 31, and he's not even the same guy who was when he won MVP in 2021. But I still think I would like to have a little bit more freedom for the guy who has won 4 MVPs and still showed. It's not like he's operating as, like in Peyton Manning, where he doesn't have the arm anymore and he's still going to be able to get away because of his smarts. No, he still has the smarts and he can still sling it too. So I don't know, man. Like I'm running out of answers. And as somebody who tries to be as objective and tries to find every benefit of the doubt as possible, I'm running out of benefits of the doubt.
I'm running out of ... here.
Yeah, right.
Because what's your cure for a coach who's afraid? Whether it's fear of the middle of the field. How about fear of 4th downs, Chris?
Oh my gosh.
How about I'm looking these up here because I had these numbers in the column that you guys already read.
Because you have the app.
Because you have the app. The Steelers right now have gone for it on 4th down 11 total times. That's the second fewest in the league. They've converted only 5 times. The issue, that's also second fewest. Guess who's got the fewest in both of these categories? That's right. Your role models up the turnpike, pal. That's who. These guys, it's not the tush push isn't the problem. It's that he never goes for it. It's that he's afraid of it. He had himself 2 running backs who combined for 186 yards on the ground. and he wouldn't go for it. He's petrified of this change. He's petrified of the tush push. His only real reaction to the tush push to date has been to try to get it killed. Why? Because it's new, and he'd have to adjust. He'd have to think of something that's different. We could do this subject all day because there's that much material on it. He is sending out signals that are so loud and so clear that the football that he knew and loved and might have been really sharp at one point or whatever is behind him. And he doesn't even want to deal with it. That's the craziest part of all of this. You can tell by the way he's asked stuff in press conferences and the way he answers it. Chris, share with the group, please, so they don't think this is just me, how he reacts when somebody brings up snap counts.
Oh my, that's not even the thing that I was going to because today was kind of snap counts, man. Anytime somebody brings up anything about workload, snap counts, splitting up the workload, he gets really defensive, and sometimes he just flat out says, "I'm not about to share that with you."
Because it's numbers. Because, we didn't used to have snap counts at our fingertips. And now you just basically, there's 7 or 8 sites that track this stuff. You don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Just like that. Snap counts. So we can see that Kenny Gainwell had 5 or 6 more snap counts than Jaylen Warren, and he hates that.
Yeah, there's even something called Sumer Brain, which I use, by the way.
Who?
It's Sumer, so Sumer. They are a sports website that literally tracks a whole bunch of different things, including personnel usage. Every time you read my next opponent piece on the app, because you should, when you see the personnel splits, that's where I get that information from. They have something called Sumer Brain, which is their version of ChatGPT, which means that you can ask, how often are the Steelers in their nickel defense, and where does that rank in the NFL? And poof, it gives it to you. Like, you can literally ask it any question you want, and I think all but one time it's been correct. Like, there was one time I tried to kind of challenge it, and I worded the question in a weird way that only a human would really be able to understand, and it gave me the wrong answer. So it's not a perfect thing, but still, the point is that there are tools out there in which you can find out how often the Steelers are in single high versus two high, how often or what the snap count difference is between the running backs, how often a certain running back might be on the field on third down as opposed to not being on the field on third down, which is why we know in certain games that Jaylen Warren has gone an entire game without being on the field on third down, which makes about 0 sense. So, like, it's all there, and we all have this ammunition now, and he just shoots it down. And he did it again today when being asked a specific question about coverages, about like a coverage and how he was beat. And he just immediately was like, I'm not peeling back the curtain on how we do our schematics and everything like that, but nice try. Like, that's, yeah.
You know, the funny thing is, there's no longer an acceptable question to him. I mean, he has changed his position on this. He's moved the goalposts countless times. When he was asked Sunday in Chicago, totally reasonable thing. Did you consider kicking a field goal with Chris Boswell there at the end? I don't live in the hypothetical world. It wasn't a hypothetical question. That situation legitimately arose in a real game on real grass, at a real stadium next to a real lake. And that was what you get back. And today he's asked
the same question.
He's asked the same question, right? Mm-hmm. And just said no. How do you not even consider it?
Yeah.
You have the best kicker in the universe.
Yeah.
How do you not consider it? He's also asked, like you said, about the 4 verts and the trips right and everything else here. What he was essentially being asked, although it was asked in the football terminology that seemed to impress him was they sent out 4 guys and you had 3 back. Was that, not something that alarmed you?
He didn't even let him finish the question.
No, because he knew where it was headed, and he knows there's only one answer to that question.
Yeah,
and that's we screwed up.
We got beat.
No. Beats on the field.
Yeah. Oh, I'm talking about like sometimes coaches just get beat. Yeah.
The coaches got beat
there.
there.
Yeah.
Then there's, the play at the goal line where the Bears are out there in 11 personnel. The Bears are ready to run because that's what they do in that formation. Mm-hmm. The Steelers are in nickel at the goal line. I mean, there's a thing called a goal line formation.
Yeah.
You put your bigs on the field. So the Bears double team each of the Steelers 2, count them, 2 tackles. Each got double teamed. It was like, I was going to say it's like building Legos. It's more like building Duplos, the baby version of the Legos. With the big clunky wheels on the trains and stuff. Duplos. This was building Duplos for the Bears. They had to be up in the Bears booth. And remember, we're talking about the Bears here. Or what used to be the Bears.
I was about to say, Ben Johnson's done a really good job there.
Yeah. These guys they're up there. They got to be giggling. You got to be kidding. They're in nickel. No, they're not. Yeah, they are. Look, they're in nickel. Oh, my God, they are in nickel.
Yeah.
Are they just going to let us? Yeah, they are just going to let us score. Huh.
Yeah.
That's what happened, Chris.
Yeah.
And it happened all day. So what he does now is he's resorting to just snarking away at the reporters for asking the questions. The hard questions.
Yeah. And so this is perfect because this is how the show started yesterday. Why doesn't the media, why don't you guys ask the hard questions? Well, you cannot, literally, it's more like today was more proof that he won't give you the answer you want.
No, it doesn't matter what you ask. But they don't even care about that, Chris. The people who come up with the hard questions nonsense are the ones who, they don't even care if he answers or whatever. They want you to make him squirm because they want you to make him upset because they're upset. That's not the reporter's role at all.
No.
We're seeking information. So when we ask about why didn't you kick, it's not because we're in there, we're mad and we want him to... It's actually part of the content that we're trying to produce to be able to say, why did you do this or why did you not do this? That's all.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing that can't, because I got a question on our app. Obviously Patrick Queen's comments have circulated and, somebody, and his name never came up today. And of course somebody on our app, asked why didn't, that get asked? Or I'm like, do you think he'd give an answer? Do you really think Mike Tomlin would give an answer on that? If Mike Tomlin was asked about Patrick Queen's about Patrick Queen's comments, the answer would have gone one of 2 ways. Number one, he would have been, we handle that stuff behind closed doors. Or he would go the way of, oh, I hadn't heard about that. I hadn't heard.
He hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't been made aware of it.
Those are the 2 ways that he would handle that question, and that's you're not going to get an answer. That stuff, as always, is handled behind closed doors. If he doesn't like the fact that Patrick Queen said some things publicly, I guarantee it's going to be handled behind closed doors, and that's why you won't ever hear about it unless somebody on the inside wants to leak it to a reporter. That's the only way. Tomlin's not going to give an answer on it.
There's
the way it goes.
Grayson Brown drops $20 here, which is really, really kind, man. Thank you. He says, thank you both for getting me through this week-to-week season. Cy, Tomlin is just a coach that has failed to evolve with the NFL. It's hurt him and the team more than anything. Is it stubbornness or pride? I don't know anymore. One thing that's worth thinking about in this context here, Grayson, so I was thinking about this when Chris and I went out to that park area that they have.
Trying to escape the speakers.
To the side of Soldier Field. There's actually this really nice, huge, expansive park there that's along the lake. I just remember thinking a lot about, and he's been around a long time. And I don't know of too many coaches or managers in any sport that can just constantly change or morph with the times.
Yeah.
All of these games that we play and love and support and everything else, there's been no phase of football or hockey or baseball over the past century and a half that hasn't had some really significant changes over the span of, what are we talking about, 10, 15 years? Where you can watch highlights or film or, reel by reel or whatever from a certain decade, and you know what decade it is, not just because of the videography, but because you'll see stuff that you go, oh man, did they used to do it like that? That's not how they do it anymore. The game changes, the technology changes, the information changes, the data changes, the ideas, the concepts change. And if you're a coach who has developed, and I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here, such a firm belief system that you've succeeded to the extreme, that you've made it to the top of your profession, meaning being in the NFL and lasting, to his credit, as long as he has, or even half as long as he has in Pittsburgh. You've got to have that like in your soul. It's all the way in. So then when somebody comes along, maybe it's some kid in college who wrote a paper that changes the way the sport is done to analytics crowd, and they tell you, 4th down, no, man, go for it, like every time. Yeah. Look, here's the numbers. What do you think it takes to pound that out of that individual, whether it's someone who's naturally stubborn like Tomlin or not?
Yeah, I think I do agree that there are. I mean, we've even seen it in the NFL, and I think the NFL might be the league, maybe Major League Baseball, because there have been some managers who have really stuck around for a long time and maintained success. But the NFL seems to be a league in which if you get the right coach, you can maintain success for a while. And the Steelers have been absolutely probably the best example of that with Chuck Noll and Bill Cowher. I'm saying like they've had 3 head coaches since 1969, and Noll delivered 4 Super Bowls and Cowher delivered a Super Bowl, and then Tomlin obviously delivered a Super Bowl. But I know you're not going to win a Super Bowl every year, and you're not going to have a dynasty, all the time. Those are, they don't happen that often. But I think eventually you start to see the signs. And I keep going back to Andy Reid in Philadelphia, because there was a time in which Andy Reid and the Eagles were right there every single year almost. Like they were getting to the NFC Championship on a consistent basis. They would never get over that hump, but they were still a competitive team. For all the hype that there was around Donovan McNabb, I never thought he was really like one of the real top quarterbacks, but still Andy Reid was getting the most out of McNabb and that entire Eagles team. Obviously, it stopped working after a while. He moves on. There's a mutual parting of ways there, and he goes to Kansas City, and you still realize, oh, he's still a good coach. It just stopped working in Philadelphia, and I'm just wondering if we're starting to see the signs of that, and not saying starting to see it like right now, but have been seeing this now coalesce over the last few seasons, in which it's just time. It's not that Tomlin's a bad coach. It's just it's reached its expiration date. That's, I think, and the more and more this stuff keeps happening year after year after year, the more evidence there is for it.
We're going to keep looking at some of the stuff that I've starred here along the way. Cody says, DK, why does watching this team this season feel like watching a sitcom that you've seen multiple times before? It's the same shortcomings. It's the same script, really. There's so many similarities to these storylines that I don't even know where to start in making that list. But what gets you is when those similarities carry over from coordinator to coordinator, or quarterback to quarterback to quarterback, or for that matter, defensive guys. Terrell Austin's been here a while. He took over for Keith Butler, but we saw a lot of the same things when Coach Butts was here. Mm-hmm. The only time it was different was when Dick LeBeau was in, and Dick LeBeau is at a genius level.
Yeah,
and
you're not overriding him.
You're not. Yeah. Okay. Well, he tried.
Yeah.
He tried. It's too bad, because I think there was something to this roster when it was put together. It wasn't perfect. It certainly wasn't complete, but there was plenty there. And it did not have to look like this. It did not have to perform like this. It did not have to be undisciplined like this. Pre-snap penalties. Come on. Week 12?
Yeah.
Week 12?
Yeah. In really crucial moments. And like, it's not even just like Tomlin even brought up, because he didn't even mention unsolicitedly. It wasn't until after he was asked about it, that illegal formation penalty, that was a killer, obviously. But what was also a killer, and Tomlin actually did bring this one up today, was the offside penalty that negated the Joey Porter interception at the end of the half. Bears go on to kick a field goal. Like, you lost by 3. Like, do the math here. Like take those 3 points off the board. It's a tie game at the end of the game, and you're going to overtime.
And then he brings up weighty downs, and he brings up the you can, to me, in the year 2025, as an NFL coach, you lose or you forfeit the right to complain about possession or takeaways or turnovers when you're the one that's giving them the ball very happily on fourth down. And I'm going to say this again. This isn't like this is some crazy idea, some radical, risky, gimmicky type thing. It's right there. It's right there. It's in the numbers. It's in the numbers. Do you go for it when it's 4th and 14 at your own 20? No. But it's almost like the old Dick Vermeil chart about when to go for it, when to go for 2 points. There's a real simple guide. Vermeil made the whole thing, the old coach of the Eagles from a long time ago. It's still in play today, the Dick Vermeil chart. You know why? Because he based it on math. If you're ahead by X number of points, you go for 2. If you're behind by whatever else, you kick the PAT. The same thing is in play for punts. It's out there. Now, it's not as definitive, but it's out there. What Dan Campbell is doing in Detroit isn't some radical thing. It's not like he came up with it. He has a group that he can believe in. They appreciate that. They respect that. And he goes for it. If he doesn't make it, go ahead and stop them then. But let's keep going here. Kanan says, by the way, where have you been, Kanan? You were in here like every day for a while. Now you just show up like you don't say hi or anything. He just like shows up. What I hate the most is how many good players we've had for them not to have done anything in the playoffs. TJ, Cam, Alex, Pouncey. I don't want to watch these guys never experience winning. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. I can also appreciate, and I hope I'm not alone in this, the open exasperation of some of these defensive guys. And believe me, that's there on offense too. They're just not as vocal about it. Okay, it is. They know they're not being coached particularly well. They're aware of this. They're the ones that are out there living it. See, those two defensive linemen that I referenced earlier who each got double teamed at the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
Stop what you're doing right now. Put yourself in their very large shoes. You're that person at the goal line, and you're getting ready to, I'm going to stop this guy. We're in our goal line. This is why I do all that lifting and running and everything else all year long. It's to make this play. And you line up, and there's two guys that come at you. And you see over to your side that your buddy also got double teamed. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Are you thinking, man, we really let the team down here? Oh, No. What are you actually thinking in that moment? What you're thinking is what Patrick Queen brought up, which is, I cannot believe this is how we were aligned. I cannot believe that nobody adjusted from above for what they were seeing from this offense. That's what they're thinking. It's not to deflect blame. It's not to get the pressure off of themselves. They do enough of that, piling onto themselves. It's not that. It's just a fact. It's right there on the film. You don't have to wonder if it's true or not.
Yeah, and listen, the fact that, it took, let's see, they were 10-3 last year, which is through week 14. We are now through week 12, and we are already starting to see the same cracks in the foundation that we started to see, I would say, after the loss to the Chiefs last year, which would have been week 17. Like, that was the game in which there were players after the game, like, openly calling out other players. Now, not by name, but obviously taking shots at, like, we got to be lined up, like straight up shots at other players. And now we're already, like, this is coming prematurely, like, compared to last year. And the fact that it's happening earlier, that now frustration is starting to be said publicly, it's a big deal. It's a big deal because now, like, almost based off of that alone, I have no faith that this team's going to make the playoffs. Like, none.
Roderick Pritchard says, blah, 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 players have to play, period. Real Steeler Nation is behind you, Mike T. Says the only guy expressing this in the entire chat. I don't even know what you're supposed to do with that. I don't know. You watch this, unless you're just being like Joe fan or whatever here, and you just pick a side and you're not even actually putting any thought into it. Look at what's actually unfolding in front of you. Put the towel down. Put the towel down. Just, give it a couple seconds and look at some of these schematics and understand that the coaching is a real problem here. Joe comes back at me here from earlier. DK, you didn't answer my question. What was Rudolph's problem on Sunday? His problem was his head coach. Okay, he's not going to say that to you. The coordinator's not going to say that to you. The head coach sure isn't going to say that to you. The head coach, you said instead you went off on a tangent about the middle of the field. That ain't the tangent, dude. That's the actual point. He was 24 of 31. He had 7 incomplete passes. Okay? 24 of 31 is not your problem, as you put it, to be discussed. The problem was that of those 24 completions, very few of them were in an area where you could get anything or spread their defense out or take advantage of the fact that they had how many inside linebackers, Halleck? They had 0 of their 3 starting inside linebackers, but they didn't throw over the middle of the field.
James says, according to Ryan Clark, Tomlin is very stubborn.
Of course he is.
You don't have to ask Ryan or listen to Ryan Clark about that. And I can tell you right now, I have had listen, about like this whole, like, because it's been talked about publicly, like Joey Porter Jr. has talked about Terrell Austin like taking player feedback. And I even wrote on our app that the taking of player feedback, or the player feedback, has been given way prior to him actually applying it. The player feedback predates the changes that you've actually seen happen in games like the Colts game and the Bengals game. Player feedback was happening. It has to be taken by the coaches. That includes Terrell Austin, and yeah, that includes Mike Tomlin. And while I have a good indication based off of both Joey Porter Jr.'s on-the-record comments and my off-the-record conversations with other players, Terrell Austin has been well more receiving of the player feedback than Mike Tomlin has. Doesn't mean Mike Tomlin hasn't taken any, but I also know, and again, I can't go into detail on this, and I can't say who I've heard it from, but Terrell Austin's not the biggest issue when it comes to coaches taking player feedback. I'll put it that way. That's the best way I can put it without giving anything away. So, yes, Mike Tomlin is very, very stubborn.
Yeah, there wasn't any news being broken there, that's for sure.
No.
Heldon Daddy asks, if Patrick Queen sees that, why isn't he calling a timeout? When do the players just start going rogue? This reminds me of, do you remember, was it last year or the year before, that they had Minka mic'd up on the sideline and he saw something?
Yeah.
He saw something from the sideline and he's yelling and screaming at everybody involved, and the coaches, change this. And they went and did it. Yeah, you wish sometimes those guys, the players on the sideline, had some authority. Like, for example, when Aaron Rodgers noticed from the sideline, to his credit, that they were about to get called for that illegal formation, and Rodgers is going, he puts his hands on his head. Yeah. You guys haven't seen it yet, and he just goes, oh, no. Oh, no. They're going to get us. The next thing you know, Mason's running up the gut for 22 yards to get the Steelers to midfield, and it all comes back.
Yeah.
But Mason's the problem.
Yeah. I don't think Mason was all that great. I also don't think he was bad.
He was not great. He'd be the first one to tell you he wasn't great, but focusing on him is insane.
No, if you look at that game and you're like, the reason why the Steelers didn't win was because of Mason Rudolph, that's not the reason. The Steelers lost that game for a number of reasons, and on-field stuff, like in terms of like player execution. Not saying player execution couldn't have been better. It absolutely could have. But you also had a game in which you ran for 186 yards, and you had 2 drives that took nearly 8 minutes off the clock. One of them not greatly timed, but still, like, it's one of those things where you're like, you know what? It's kind of like the touchdown that came on one play against the Bengals, where you would have liked to take the time off the clock and then score, but you're not going to turn down a guaranteed touchdown either. You're not going to turn down the touchdown that came on an 8-minute drive when you really wanted that drive to be more like 3 minutes or 4 minutes. You're still going to take it. They still did some good things in the game, and I think that's why it's still so frustrating, is that they did do some good things in this game. It wasn't all terrible. This wasn't the Bengals game in which they got emasculated by Zach Taylor. Like, Caleb Williams did not play well. Let's put that into perspective. He didn't run all over this defense, and he missed several throws to open guys. It could have been way worse than it was.
Oh, yeah. Here's a fun one from Matt Rizzo. Why are the Post-Gazette's reporters not as critical of Tomlin as you guys? That kind of bugs me. The first response that I have to this is, I actually don't know if they are or aren't. I let my subscription lapse last year because they lost a city local business reporter that I had been subscribed for. So I don't even read their stuff. That's not a shot. That's not a dig. I worked there for 20 years. I'm proud of it and everything else here. But I actually don't know if they're critical or not. The question that I have for you, Matt, why do you care? Like, how many of these things do you need to read or watch? We're here. Do you want us to do more stuff? We have a lot of material that we offer. In video form, in audio form, and tons and tons and tons of it in written form. I'm not saying that we should be everybody's be-all, end-all. I just don't know why it would frustrate you. That's all, you know? There's lots of different places that you can read, and then also you can just read read our stuff. Aiden says that Tomlin is handcuffing the team. He wants to prove to the league that you can win his way. I don't think so. I don't think he's out to prove anything.
No, he doesn't need to prove anything.
I think he just wants to be afraid. He wants to just be cautious. There can't be a more conservative head coach in the NFL. Now, I don't cover the other 31, so I can't attest to that. But when you look at the fourth down numbers and you look at a lot of the other things that are measurable, man, he is just so cautious because he wants to play for the game to be close in the fourth quarter. That's his priority because that's how he's done this forever. Problem is, his fourth quarter guy hasn't been with us for half a decade now. The guy who would win this for him in the fourth quarter hasn't been there.
Well, and that's kind of what the direction I start thinking about this entire thing. Like, okay, if we really think that there's the potential, like even if it's 0.01%, that Mike Tomlin might not be the head coach of the Steelers in some near future. The thing that I have to think that I'm thinking about, that if I'm Art Rooney II and I have to think about the state of the franchise, I have to think, listen, I know Omar Khan has been planning to be getting a long-term quarterback. It may happen in this draft.
It may.
It may not.
It may not.
There's no guarantee. But I do know that he is planning this because not only is he talking about it behind closed doors, he's said it on the record going all the way back to the owners' meetings. This has been a plan in motion that's continuously moving in that direction. That is paramount over everything else. If you need any proof of it, the Brady-Belichick divorce proved that the quarterback is more important than the head coach. The quarterback is paramount. You need to get your next quarterback. And if you don't believe, and right now you need to look at the track record of what Mike Tomlin has done with both young quarterbacks with a little bit of experience, and very experienced quarterbacks such as Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, that you look at that body of work and ask yourself the question, is this the head coach that I want for my next franchise quarterback? And if you have any doubt at all about that, he cannot be the head coach when you draft your next quarterback. If you believe that's as soon as next April when the draft is in your backyard, then now is the time to cut the cord and to find somebody new and to do that. There's no guarantee of that, though. You can't fire Mike Tomlin and then say, we got to go get a quarterback no matter what. And then that first night of April comes around and Omar says, the quarterback that we would want in the first round isn't there and we can't get him. And you just say, just take Kenny Pickett. Like, you know what I'm saying. Just take the best quarterback that's available. You can't do that. And that's not what Omar wants to do. So I'll get off my soapbox when it comes to this, but like that is paramount. That's what Art Rooney II has to start thinking about, because no matter how the Steelers finish these last 6 games, it's not going to end in a Super Bowl victory. It's just not. They might not even make the playoffs.
This? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
That's what you have to start looking at now.
The final word is richly deserved by Mr. SN dropping $50 on us. Thank you. Says the game has passed Mike Tomlin, and it's okay to say that he should leave. His peers, Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll, have also struggled and left the league. Well, Carroll never really leaves. let's be clear on that point. There, it's okay to say he should leave. There's tons and tons of people saying that he should leave. I called for his replacement after last season. Wrote it from Baltimore. Linked to it again on the site today, that the next time that I call for Tomlin's firing will be a repeat. Nothing that I've seen since then has changed my opinion. If anything, it's only been further reinforced with events in recent weeks here. The Steelers got off to a promising start when it comes to the record, but as we were even saying at the time, we weren't I wasn't satisfied with the Steelers' performance in any game until they got to Ireland. And all you've seen since then is just dramatic inconsistencies.
It's just up and down.
And it's not even just, all right, well, the offense is down, the defense is good. The defense is down, offense is good. Those are part of the inconsistencies. Effort, fire, physicality, energy. How many games, Chris? How many times we seen it? Twice? 3 times?
3.
3 times.
Vikings, Colts, and Bengals.
Vikings, Colts, and second Bengals.
Yeah, second Bengals game. Obviously not the first one.
Yeah. Vikings, Colts, and second Bengals. I also liked, but this wasn't consistent, their defensive performance against the Browns. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. Their offensive performance against the Browns was what I liked because the Browns were still feeling it defensively at the time.
Oh, they were the top rush-ranked defense at the time. Yeah.
And the Steelers played really, really hard offensively against the Browns. So 3.5.
Yeah.
How's that? That's what you've gotten when it comes to like where you just go, whoa, look at the Steelers. They're really into this. You might see it Sunday.
I made a joke today with one of my buddies. I said the Steelers are probably going to beat the Bills and then lose to the Dolphins. That's just or
lose to the Dolphins.
Dude, I don't know, man. The Dolphins beat the Bills. They beat the brakes off the Bills.
Yeah, they actually kind of did. The Bills I think we're all still thinking of the Bills from last year or the year before or whatever. This Buffalo team's been. You want to talk about?
It's their defense. Their defense is the main issue. I am not ready to say that Josh Allen all of a sudden doesn't look superhuman because all it takes is one shred of doubt, and all it takes is one game for Josh Allen to be Josh Allen again, and you're like, oh, okay, never mind, he's back. Because I think we at one point, I don't know if it was last season or the season before, I think people were starting to think that about Patrick Mahomes. Like Patrick Mahomes, it was like, wow, he's not kind of being the Mahomes we've kind of gotten to know over the last several years. Like he doesn't look like that guy. Well, then like week 17 and 18 came, then the playoffs came, and then you're like, oh, there's Patrick Mahomes. Like he's back now. Like that's all it takes. And it might be this defense that wakes up Josh Allen and the Bills.
I'm going to close today with Chris Dolnack being one of many to bring up James Harrison's podcast rant. Now, I covered a big chunk of Debo's career here in Pittsburgh. And I'm not going to say that I know him. I don't think anybody really gets to know Debo, certainly if you're outside the family, outside the Steelers.
Imagine. Yeah.
But I will say this. Did that whole thing come across as really contrived to you? Like, it didn't feel like it was authentic at all. Like, he got to a certain point, and then he realized, oh, I'm supposed to start yelling now. And then he starts screaming and whatever else, and you're looking at poor Joe Hayden on the other end of that screen. I didn't see the whole thing. I just saw the parts that they put up on social. And I'm watching this, and I'm going, oh, man, this is like this. I don't think he even means this. It was just, I don't know. It just wasn't, there wasn't much to it there for me.
Yeah.
Which would have been really cool if it had been. Because his voice matters.
No, it absolutely does. And right now it's coming in a voice that you definitely would not want to hear, with all the lights off in the house. You don't want to hear anybody yelling like that. But he's not the only former Steeler who's played for Mike Tomlin to be openly critical of Tomlin or other members of the staff or anybody else. Ben Roethlisberger has been critical. I mean, there are other very, very prominent former players that have been critical, and now we're seeing current players also do the same thing.
I don't doubt for a second that they're critical. I am literally just talking about that sequence on that show. Yeah. It was just like, really?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Like, it just kind of came from nowhere. I don't know. He's just going to come here and, like, rip my skull off.
Yeah, I was about to say.
For saying this, but... Yeah, this isn't about whether or not there was substance or whether or not I'm just saying that the whole thing. Somebody said here earlier it was theater. That's what. Yeah,
Yeah, I do think it's a little.
I mean, we can do that. I can start screaming right now too about it. It's just,
I don't want to.
huh?
I don't want to yell. I don't want you to hear. I don't want to hear you yell either.
No,
I don't think like literally like I call them the screaming heads on TV, like not the talking heads but the screaming heads.
Yeah, screaming A. Smith.
Yeah. It's not entertaining to me, but I'm also not like
I am so not into that crap.
I'm really not either.
I don't care who it is that's doing it. I'm just so not into that.
Yeah.
If you're going to be upset, go ahead and make sure it's genuine.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this again. If it wasn't a split screen and you have poor Joe Hayden down there going, what am I supposed to do with this? Because I know this isn't real. If you want to tell yourself that was authentic, you go right ahead and do that.
I was more focused on Joe Hayden wearing the split Browns Guardians jersey and the Cleveland Cavaliers hat. Like there's one like I that was like more like trying to figure out that entire like not get up but just entire fashion thing that he had going on. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Meanwhile, James Harrison's just sitting next to him screaming his head off constantly. It was
only when the light went on, apparently, like there was a scream light or something.
Yeah, because there were times where he was talking real calm, real
like
quiet.
a split second before.
Yeah.
and then the light comes on and it's like, I'm like, what? At least come up with something that's specific. And there wasn't really any of that. That's what I want to hear. The guy who's been in the league that long and who's that spectacularly intelligent as Debo is. And I don't know that he ever got enough credit for that in his game, because you just think Debo, Mr. Scary Guy and whatever, and he's doing the bull rush and everything. Debo thought the game at an incredibly high level. That's what I want to hear.
Mm-hmm. He did say some actual football specific things in there. I did, because when I went to go embed the video just so that, we put that in the feed and like, go nuts, listen to James Harrison scream for 30 minutes. But he going through and just watching a little bit of it, he did give some actual, it wasn't just our defensive coordinator's trash, our defensive schemes are trash. And it wasn't just that. There was a little bit of substance in there, but yes, it was theater for sure.
Yeah, I mean, calling coaches that he knows and everything trash. I just, anyway.
Yeah.
Big Timer asks, I don't know how to become a member. I'm gonna take this opportunity here, even though you're all mad and you hate the Steelers and you think the season is shot and you don't want to support us anymore. Big Timer does. By the way, Steelers girl, our friend here on this show from Hawaii, came in as a subscriber to our app over the weekend. And me and Chris were like, we're in Chicago. I mentioned, they're like, what the heck took her so long? That was our gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's how it works, Big Timer. Go to your Apple App Store or Google Play. Download the DK Pittsburgh Sports app for free. Just type in the search engine, DK Pittsburgh Sports. Download that for free. After you do that, email me directly, dk@dkpittsburghsports.com. In fact, I'm going to type that up here right now. dk@dkpittsburghsports.com. Then I'm going to put it up so everybody can see it. And then you email me right after this show. Okay? I'm going to sit right over there and I'm going to answer them. I'm going to do it right when we're done. It'll be like we're talking. And I'm going to get you a massive discount. It'll put Black Friday, any of your Black Friday purchases to shame, the value that you're going to get out of this thing. It's really, really inexpensive. But it's the way to get in there with no ads. It's the way to get in there asking us questions. badgering us, whatever it is that you got.
Happens plenty on the app.
There's plenty of that.
Plenty of subscribers bashing DK and the reporters.
Yes, when you have the kind of community that we do, and it is a large community from 151 countries, you're gonna get it. But it's moderated. It's not. There's no politics allowed. That's rule number 1, by the way, at our place. Even if it's to say something like "I like politics," it's like totally harmless remark. Gone, man. Take it somewhere else. There's plenty enough of that elsewhere. Anyway, guys, so big timer. Come on in. Go ahead and get that app right now. You can be there right in line behind Steeler Girl and a bunch of others that are there. Mike mentions that he feels that hot takes are manufactured. Well, yeah, that's all they are. And we don't do any of that here. We're just talking. It's just talking football. Wherever it goes, it goes. I don't do any predictions. I don't do any of that kind of stuff to get you, whoa, did you hear what DK said today? Who cares? We're just here to talk football.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, get the app. And we will do this again. Will we? Yeah, we're having a show tomorrow. We're going to have a show tomorrow. We will not have shows on either Thursday or Friday. We will have a show tomorrow to get you as ready as possible for these two teams meeting up on Sunday. Talk to you guys later.